For years, most people never thought about semiconductors. They weren't discussed at dinner tables. They rarely appeared in headlines. And outside the technology industry, very few people paid attention to the companies making them. But today, semiconductors have become one of the most important products in the world. They power smartphones, computers, cars, factories, data centers, artificial intelligence systems, and countless devices people use every single day.
Meanwhile, manufacturers like TSMC and Samsung fabricated the chips inside massive semiconductor factories. But something very different is happening today. A new chip design war is unfolding inside Silicon Valley. And it's not just between traditional semiconductor companies anymore. Some of the biggest technology firms in the world are now designing their own chips, creating an intense competition over who will control the future of computing. To understand why this chip design war is happening, you first have to understand how important processors have become to modern technology companies. Every digital service relies on computing power. Cloud platforms process massive volumes of data. Artificial intelligence models require enormous computational resources. Smartphones, laptops, and wearable devices all depend on efficient processors to deliver performance while conserving energy. For years, technology companies relied on external chip suppliers to power their products. But that model created a limitation. When companies depend on the same chip suppliers, they often end up using very similar hardware. That makes it harder to differentiate products and optimize performance. Designing custom chips changes that dynamic. Instead of adapting software to generic processors, companies can build chips specifically optimized for their own systems. This approach is known as custom silicon, and it has become one of the biggest strategic priorities in Silicon Valley. Apple was one of the first companies to prove how powerful this strategy could be. For years, Apple relied on Intel processors in its Mac computers. But in 2020, the company made a dramatic shift by introducing its own chip architecture known as Apple Silicon. These processors, starting with the M1 and later expanding into more advanced models, were designed specifically for Apple's hardware and software ecosystem. Because Apple controls the operating system, device design, and processor architecture, it can optimize every layer of the system. This tight integration produced impressive results. Apple's chips delivered strong performance, excellent battery efficiency, and seamless interaction between software and hardware. The success of Apple Silicon sent a powerful message across the technology industry. Owning your chip design could provide a major competitive advantage. Soon after, other tech giants began accelerating their own chip development efforts. Google had already been developing its own processors known as Tensor Processing Units, or TPUs. These chips are designed specifically to accelerate artificial intelligence workloads. Machine learning requires massive parallel computation, and Google's custom chips help run many of its AI services more efficiently inside its data centers. Amazon has also invested heavily in chip design. Through its Annapurna Labs division, Amazon created custom processors for its cloud platform, Amazon Web Services. Its Graviton processors power general-purpose computing workloads, while specialized chips like Trainium and Inferentia are designed for AI training and inference. These chips help Amazon lower infrastructure costs and improve performance for customers running machine learning applications in the cloud. Microsoft and Meta are now pushing in a similar direction. Both companies operate enormous data centers that power AI systems.
Here's where things get really exciting. These new chip plants aren't just old-school factories, they're more like futuristic ecosystems. Take TSMC's Arizona facility. It's packed with clean rooms, automated robotics, and quantum-level precision tools that can etch circuits thousands of times thinner than a human hair. Or Intel's upcoming Silicon Heartland site in Ohio, a 1,000-acre complex that will be the largest chip manufacturing site in the world once complete. These plants will create tens of thousands of high-paying jobs, not just for engineers, but for electricians, software developers, and supply chain experts. And beyond the factories themselves, dozens of smaller American companies, from material suppliers to AI chip designers, are getting a boost too. It's a tech ecosystem growing from the ground up, literally. But here's the really big takeaway. This isn't just about economics. This is about power. For decades, Asia has dominated semiconductor production, giving it enormous leverage over the global tech industry. But now the US wants that leverage back. Chips are the new oil. Whoever controls them controls innovation, defense, and even the economy. That's why Washington and Silicon Valley are finally aligned on something for once. So what does this mean for consumers like you? It means your future devices, iPhones, laptops, gaming consoles, even cars, might soon be made in America. That could mean fewer shortages, faster product launches, and potentially even better quality control. It also means more stability. Remember when you couldn't get a PlayStation 5 or when car prices shot up because of chip shortages? That's what this boom is trying to fix. And here's another benefit: sustainability. These new US factories are being designed to run on renewable energy and recycle nearly all the water they use, something older Asian facilities struggle to do. So your next phone might not only be faster, it might be greener. Of course, there are challenges ahead. Building chip factories in the US is expensive, labor costs are higher, and it takes time to train workers for such specialized jobs. TSMC's Arizona project, for example, faced delays and cultural clashes between US and Taiwanese engineers. Intel has also warned that supply chains for some materials still depend on imports. But despite the bumps, the direction is clear. America is back in the chip game, and this time it's not playing small. This chip boom is about more than semiconductors. It's about the future of technology itself. Every innovation, from AI to quantum computing to self-driving cars, depends on powerful chips. The country that leads in chip making will lead in tech. And for the first time in decades, the US is making a real play to take that lead. So the next time you pick up a new iPhone or laptop, take a closer look. Because the odds are it might not have traveled halfway across the world anymore. It might have been born right here in America.